So hi everybody, my name is Cormac Honest McCarthy, this is Casey McRae, and we are Masela Dental.
You guys are both working at the same time.
Oh, that's what.
He's got a clicker.
Oh,
He's
He's
got a
got
clicker
a
and you
remote.
got that. Yeah, that's all right. No
okay.
worries.
Okay,
Should we start now?
I started the clock.
Okay. So let me start by asking a question. Imagine you meet somebody for the first time. What's your initial impression if that person were to not have any teeth? Now, unfortunately, like most, I too am guilty of forming the wrong impression. Well, you might be surprised to hear that there's currently 35 million people suffering from edentalism, or the loss of teeth, in the U.S. today. Now, that accounts for about 11% of the U.S. population. This number is even greater in developing countries without a modern healthcare system. Although 35 million people are suffering from edentalism, only about 15% of these people are buying current denture solutions. Now, why is that, you might ask? Well, these people, 65% of the 35 million are below the poverty line. Gosh, I should say. Okay.
That's okay, we're good.
Are below the poverty line and lack any form of dental insurance as well. They also often battle with unemployment. That also is tied with their socioeconomic stigma that's attached to this ongoing issue. So, however, the biggest obstacle that we have to overcome is the cost of the denture itself. Current dentures are just too expensive. A quality set costs about $4,500 to $8,000. Now, the reason for this is they currently use a very complex manufacturing process and are very labor intensive to make as well. We've had a few interviews with some dentists, and the majority of them tell us that producing dentures continues to be one of their least favorite procedures to do due to the multiple follow-up office visits. It's about 5 to 10 in most cases, and the overall patient dissatisfaction at the end of the day with the custom fit so that it's very uncomfortable in their mouth. So Masela Dental started to provide a solution, and that was to create a low-cost denture solution to those millions of people suffering from edentalism with no viable option.
So we plan to target this problem right at the heart. By simplifying and retooling the entire manufacturing process, we will be able to offer a low-cost denture solution to the people who need it most. By leveraging additive manufacturing technology, we will be able to create a customized product in a single process run. We'll be operating at the forefront of new technology, pushing the limits of 3D printing to develop this novel solution. To do this, we'll use existing technologies such as intraoral 3D scanning. This allows us to take high-resolution scans of the patient's mouth, which then create a 3D model, import that model into dental CAD software, and print our dentures with little to no change in the existing infrastructure. By utilizing the infrastructure that's available to us, we will be able to keep the price point extremely low. Based upon our calculations, we will be able to offer a full set of dentures to the patient for a cost of $500. And this is about 10% of the cost of the average set of dentures.
Amazing.
So additive manufacturing and 3D printing allows us to create a solid part without the need to manufacture a tool or die. This is significant because the cost of a tool or die is usually several orders of magnitude greater than the cost of material or the part itself. In addition, traditional tooling does not allow you to create any changes to the product specifications after the tool is made. And for small batch medical devices, this is one of your main cost modifiers. So, with the $10,000 that we requested from DifferenceMaker, we plan to continue in materials development as well as pursue IP protection. One of the biggest problems facing the 3D printing industry today is that they only allow use of proprietary materials in the machine. This forces us to develop an entirely new material to meet our application. This is time-consuming, labor-intensive, and will require a significant amount of research and development. As such, we've allotted the majority portion of our budget to go towards materials development. We also realize the importance of a strong IP strategy to the long-term success of the company. We have preliminarily begun research on our own, but in the coming months, we'll be looking to meet with patent attorneys, discuss our options, and file for protection. We also have some prototypes for you guys to look at. These are very early stage prototypes, but
So that basically just shows the capability of the current 3D printing technology.
those are created on a Stratasys Connex SLA printer.
Yep. And so
Feel free to take it out and take a look at it.
these are basically just to show the ability of printing two different
That
types
is
of materials
the
at the
harder
same
material
time.
for the teeth is an acrylic,
So you
and
can
the base
actually
is an
see
epoxy.
the top, yeah, the tooth material is
For the
much harder than
judges
the
to ask
sidewall
questions.
of
I can
the
see
user gum.
you're very smoothly transitioning into that already. So this is the judge's time.
So what's the expected lifetime of a set of dentures made of materials such as these?
So currently, the expected lifetime for the current dentures is dependent on the quality. And so this, the big thing with this is that they're fully custom fit. So that's what really determines the life cycle of them, is that they actually don't fit the patient's mouth anymore. So this would be using the same technology as the quality sets of dentures, which last about 5 years. Whereas the low quality ones will last between like 1 to 2 years. And so we'd be using the intraoral scanning technology that these high-end manufacturers are using as well.
So at this point, we don't know what the final material will be.
Well, we'd be looking to make it out of acrylic because that's what currently they use.
Yeah.
The problem is the acrylics they have now for 3D printing are far too rigid for the application. They will work for the teeth, but the denture base, you need a higher flexural modulus to be able to withstand the mastication
Sure.
from chewing. So we will be looking to develop a slightly softer material.
And so, way out of my area of expertise, so you think that you have that expertise to develop that material?
We believe we do. We're both plastic engineering students, so we have a good background with additive manufacturing as well as polymeric materials, so we think we have the know-how to.
And what would be like the time frame to develop something like that?
Probably looking at like
6 to 12 months as far as the material selection. So we've actually done some compounding in the E-Tech building. They have the quad screw compounder that we'd be possibly looking at and using for some material development. And so yeah, 6 to 12 months. And this summer we're planning on really ramping up our research. This past semester, unfortunately, we've been pretty loaded with schoolwork.
The real class, right?
Yeah, but we're
Yeah.
focusing this summer very heavily.
Yeah.
I'm graduating this semester, and he's a senior graduating next semester, so we'll be able to focus a lot of time.
So you're pretty committed to this,
Yeah.
whether we're all about this or
Yeah,
not, right?
yeah. This
You're-
summer I've actually already talked to my boss at a medical device company about only working 3 days a week there. So I'd be setting aside 2 days specifically just for research on this project. And he's been.
Have you done any work on biocompatibility of the materials you're looking at, or had anybody from the science department or anybody look at that type of thing?
We've been in contact with 3D Systems and Stratasys as well. They have materials that are biocompatible. We'd probably be looking to use the same processes that they use to create biocompatible materials. It really depends on the monomers that you're using and your post-secondary operation. For SLA, it's a UV photocurable polymer, and you need to make sure that there's no residual monomer left because the monomer can be toxic.
So is this something that would fall under some level of government regulation? Have you
Yep.
looked at, the path forward?
It would be a Class 2 medical device.
You talked about, a set of dentures costing between $5,000 and $8,000. That's the cost to the patient?
Yes.
Yes.
And this would come in at somewhere close to $500, is that what I?
Right.
So I guess the question I have is, what is the cost, so if you sell this, if the ultimate is $500 to the end patient, what are you selling this to the dentist for, or to your distributor for?
We're thinking a couple $100s. The cost of materials are very, very low.
Yeah.
But the main cost is your equipment. The 3D printers are very expensive that we need, so.
Actually, if you want, we have a slide for cost analysis as well.
Okay.
So this is showing the buying versus renting the equipment, and it's about 750 units that we would need to sell. at $500 with a $250 profit margin, before it makes more sense to actually buying the equipment itself versus renting it. So we would initially look the renting the equipment for very short term, but once we
Yeah.
fully realize it's definitely viable.
That's for the printer, correct?
Yep.
What about this image scanner you were talking about to get this image?
That's also pretty
Yep.
expensive around,
That's-
that's including the cost, but.
It's included in
Yeah, it's about 10
And those
to
are things that the
15,000.
dentists already have,
Yep.
right, is this, you know,
Yep.
scanner.
So the dentist gets the
So they
image.
have
Yeah.
the image
Yep.
and then they get the shaping for what you need. And then-
Exactly.
The dentist would be the one actually taking the image
Yeah.
photo. Yeah.
And,
That's-
and dentists do hate to make these, absolutely, and in my world, I cover, long-term care centers, and so I have an enormous amount of elderly patients that have denture needs.
Yep.
And, we don't want our patients to have to go out to the dentist. So to be able to, you know, have something that can come in and make it would be helpful as well. So thinking about that, we do have dentists that come and bring those machines, so they certainly could scan it. The cost of them is outrageous. And Medicaid certainly, you know, 90% of the patients have Medicaid, and Medicaid doesn't cover dentures, but for maybe, I think, $800.
Right.
So to have something that patients could, you know, have better nutrition because they have the capacity to chew and eat the food, would be very helpful and obviously a big savings.
So just following up on what you said, so those image scanners that are in the dentist's office, there are dentists that have portable
They
ones?
have portable ones, yes.
Yep.
Something,
Yeah.
one in your stable versus.
Right?
Right, this is actually factoring in the cost of actually
That as
buying that scanner as well.
Ourselves. That would be-
A portable one that you can take with you, or what is?
They're portable enough.
Yeah, they're not humongous. They're about like this tall and about that wide.
It's basically just a computer with a.
Okay, so I'm just trying to envision this. Someone goes to the dentist's office, they need dentures, they send them to you, you're thinking that if you own this equipment, you're taking the image and then you're going through the process of printing, or both? Sometimes a dentist is sending you the image and you're just producing the dentures.
They would be sending us the image, we would print the dentures, send them back. And
Right, so this would be the most initial stage by going through the dentist. The far outreach goal is to actually make something that people can go to at, like, say, a CVS that you wouldn't have to actually go to the dentist's office for. And they'd take the scan there, send it to us, then we'd send them the actual dentures.
we would bypass the dentist altogether, but for now, we're trying to.
That's our ultimate goal, but feasibility wise, partnering with dentists, they are actually very excited about the idea.
Yeah, that's true.
I know my dentist has been talking about,
Yeah.
it'd be awesome to just have a 3D printer that you could print a tooth that,
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
right next to them.
Instead of waiting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's still a ways away because the printers aren't desktop, small printers that we'd be buying.
Have you estimated how long you think it would be to create a set of teeth? Like,
It depends what kind of printer we're gonna be using. It'd be probably a couple hours,
Yeah.
using the current technology for SLA printers.
But it's definitely not the 6 to 8 visits that it takes now. It
Yeah.
takes upwards of 4 or 5 months
The-
for a patient to get a pair of dentures.
Yeah.
It's an enormous amount of time.
Right, yeah, that's the biggest thing that we're really trying to
Yeah.
cut down on and make it fully customizable, that,
So you're not necessarily targeting, you're targeting the people who don't get their needs met currently, so that 30 million.
Yep.
Versus targeting the entire denture market.
World.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've thought about, how do you make inroads into that marketplace where people are buying the more expensive dentures versus you're looking at the people who today can't, you know,
Yeah.
get anything, and can you penetrate that marketplace?
I think if they're a similar quality to the dentures that they're buying for a much higher price, at a much lower price point, it's gonna be a no-brainer for them to switch over to our products.
yeah, exactly.
I think the thing you gotta watch out for is, you know, you talked about a low margin on the expensive dentures, but, you know, if the model is that a dentist would send you an image, you guys create the denture, the dentist is gonna likely recommend what he's gonna make the most money on potentially.
Mhm.
So if his margin is very low on this particular, item, I don't know that I guess somehow you gotta think about how you incent the dentist to essentially use your product versus a product where even if it's a low margin, he's making more money versus what the dentist makes. So just something to think about as you put your plan together.
Right, so I mean, we can't fully control what the
Right.
dentist is going to be selling the dentures to the patients for, but if he's starting at a lower price point for that he's actually buying them, I mean, we can't stop him from charging $1,000 compared to the $44,000 that the other companies are providing.
I think what I'm getting at is I think that you may have to think about influencing the patient to
Mhm.
ask for these dentures and
Okay.
kind of drive it from a patient perspective rather than relying on the dentist to drive it if he's gonna make more money putting the other dentures in,
Okay.
even if they're
Right.
costly. So,
That's a good point, yeah.
so think about that.
Make sure.
If something like this, you may
Yeah.
have to have the patient be the one walking in saying, hey, I want these because,
Can't have teeth.
money, yeah.
One
Yeah.
more question from judges? If there is one?
Good.
Good job.
Thank you, nice job.
Thank
you, guys.
Yeah,
This
good
was great.
luck, yeah,
Thank you.
definitely, good luck.
Thank you very much.